Hello, hello. Welcome to the Freedom Shift weekly TV series. I'm your host, Janet Clark, and today I will be discussing the empowered marketing, which is the miracle marketing method. And what does M stand for? Yes, it stands for miracles. But beyond that, it stands for marvelous, miraculous, and manifesting money. So that's a lot of M's to cover. So we will be talking today about how to manifest and monetize your mission using metaphysics, mysticism, and meditation. And no, I really didn't try to make all of these M's. It just worked out that way. So just to hang in there with me on this one. Okay, so today our show is really going to be packed with powerful information to help you discover your purpose and your mission, and to transform that into a thriving livelihood. Of course, this is really deep stuff, and it's a really broad topic, so I will just introduce you to some of the fundamentals today. And then over the course of the next several weeks, I will go deeper into all of these different topics, and we'll really be working on how to get your true livelihood rocking and rolling. So I'm really excited to be here with you today and talk about these subjects. So here are the 5 things that we will talk about today. It would be great if you had some notes, took some notes, and if you would spend the next 45-50 minutes with me without any distractions and really try to absorb some of the great concepts that I'm going to be talking to you about today, because I know that these are tried and true methodologies that have worked for many entrepreneurs who are making 6 and 7 figures and doing what they love. So that's what this is all about. It's called the Freedom Shift for a reason. Okay, so the first thing we're going to be talking about is what is a livelihood and why creating it really matters. So how to create your right livelihood. Number 2, what is metaphysics and how is that used to create your livelihood? And number 3, what is mysticism and how do you apply that to your work? Number 4, what is meditation? And how will you use that to manifest what you want? And 5, why you must market your mission. So that's a lot of M's that we're going to be discussing. Well, the first one is an L. We'll talk about livelihood, but that can also be considered your mission. Then we'll be talking about metaphysics, then mysticism, then meditation, and then marketing. So we have a full agenda. So let's jump right into it. You know, I find that very often people find themselves living lives that are packed full of obligations, unsatisfying work, challenging relationships, and they're feeling either bored or numb or in pain. And you might know what I'm talking about. You might also sometimes wonder, what am I doing here? What is this all about? Why? What is the purpose of my life? And I know what that's like because I was there myself 3 years ago. From the outside, my life looked ideal. You know, I had this lucrative residual income business. I was an entrepreneur at the time, and I had been in this business for about 10 years. It was selling technology solutions to mid-sized businesses. I had 4 grown children with 6 beautiful little grandchildren. I now have 7. And my husband was retired, and really we had enough money. We had enough money to live at the beach and to do some traveling and to, you know, have the life of freedom to kind of be where we wanted to be and go where we wanted to go. So it seemed like everything was perfect. But in fact, I didn't feel that way. I really felt unhappy and unfulfilled. And I couldn't even imagine myself retiring. Yet I didn't have any passion for the work I was doing. It didn't really feel all that meaningful to me. And I guess the whole idea of making money was great, but I think I was at a point in my life where there needed to be more than just earning an income. And I wanted to be able to contribute more in a charitable way. I wanted to help more people, but I also wanted to be able to preserve my husband's retirement nest egg. And so I wanted to keep earning money. And I wanted to be able to continue to live a lifestyle of freedom. I knew I needed more than a career or a job. I really needed to figure out, like, what's my life purpose? And then how do I make that life purpose my work so that I can generate income? So what I was really looking for was, how do I create a livelihood? So what exactly is a livelihood? You know, in earlier days, it referred to making a living to secure just the basic necessities of life, which would be food, clothing, and shelter. But in today's world, it's people, you know, we don't really worry so much about these basic needs. Most people can get their subsistence provided one way or another, even if they don't work. So really what comes to mind when you think about a livelihood is work that feels purposeful. You know, the Buddha explained it this way. After his enlightenment, he said that there was a certain way that you could get to peace, wisdom, and nirvana. And he called it the Noble Eightfold Path. And one of the 8 elements on this path was to find a way to earn what he called a right livelihood. And to practice right livelihood, you had to find a way to earn a living without transgressing your ideals, with focus on love and compassion, and a way to support yourself that was actually an expression of your deepest self. So it's kind of interesting that he looked at it and said, you know, for some people, work can be a source of suffering. It can either be a source of suffering for you or cause suffering to others, and that would not be a good way to make a living. Right livelihood, on the other hand, is a way to achieve your life purpose and your calling to serve in a meaningful way. So think about it this way. Like, what would you want your legacy to be? If I would ask myself that question, and then I would say, well, does my work contribute to the legacy that I hope to leave? If it does, then I would consider that right livelihood. So here's a good working definition for livelihood. You should write this down. Livelihood is a way of working and thinking about work where you are moving toward the fullest participation in life, comma. I'll say that part again. Livelihood is a way of working and thinking about work where you are moving toward the fullest participation in life, comma, growing in self-awareness, truth, and self-esteem. So one more time. Livelihood is a way of looking and thinking about work. Livelihood is a way of working and thinking about work where you are moving toward the fullest participation in life, growing in self-awareness, truth, and self-esteem. Now, for those of you who have studied psychology and you know about Abraham Maslow and his Maslow's hierarchy of needs, he was a psychologist, he called this self-actualization. And really what that means is that you're growing whole. You're feeling whole and you understand like why you're here. So when I refer to your livelihood, I'm talking about that work which provides you with an abundant living and makes you feel whole. The truth is that you can create a livelihood based on doing something that you love and that feels purposeful. You know, with my program and the work that I do, the Empowered Entrepreneur, so the miracle marketing program that I've created, what I've done is I've combined the things that I absolutely love, which is mentoring people, marketing, metaphysics, and mysticism. And I've taken all those things and I've put them all together in a way that I can help other people. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit more today about, each one of these aspects. But what's important is that because I really love help teaching and mentoring, but I have this big, extensive background in business and marketing and sales. That's my talents, and I love doing. And I'm very interested in metaphysics and mysticism. It was just great that I could come up with a program where I actually could incorporate all of that. So like the whole of me is in my work. So now I have a purpose, which is to help people go from depressed and broke or broken to manifesting miracles for themselves and for others. Now, that feels great to me because I know that I can help people with that. It's just a great thing to get up every day and be able to help people in that way that I know I've experienced myself, and to be able to get people past that point. So, the truth is, though, that we are incredibly powerful human beings. And we have the potential to consciously transform our own minds, hearts, souls, and the way we make a living or our livelihood. It's easy to feel that we don't have that control because sometimes there are things going on inside us that don't feel good, or things going on outside around our lives that don't feel good. But we can change that. So to harness this potential, we need to understand the spiritual laws of the universe and how to use them. So that is something that a lot of people, would say, oh, that sounds kind of woo-woo. What does that mean? Well, that's what metaphysics is all about. How to use the spiritual laws of the universe. So today I'm going to touch on a little basic understanding of what metaphysics is and how to use these principles and how this can change your life. Now, I personally am part of a Christian spiritual tradition that uses and teaches these laws and principles. But the discussion that we're going to have today is in no way meant to promote Christian beliefs. So as much as I love and honor my own tradition, I also honor all spiritual traditions and beliefs of all people. So when I start talking about these spiritual laws, what I'm discussing is the spiritual laws of the universe, which are in no way meant to be restricted to any one path. So metaphysics is really a science of the energetic laws of the universe. So when we try to understand the physical world, we look to science and we look to the science of physics. To understand the spiritual nature of the physical world, we look to the science of metaphysics. So just like with mastery of the physical laws, that would be the key to unlocking the secrets of what's going on in the physical world, mastery of metaphysical laws will be the key to unlocking the secrets of the spiritual world. And much like the physical, physics, you couldn't possibly gain mastery of that in just a few weeks or even in one course. And today I'm going to be introducing you to the concepts of metaphysics, and it's the same thing. You can't get that overnight, but you can get the basics. And it will get you to start maybe on this journey of learning more, because really it will take many, many years to become a master of any of these concepts. I mean, I'm only a few years into it myself, so I am certainly no expert, but I just love what I'm learning and I'm excited to share it. So you may be wondering, well, what does metaphysics and these laws of the universe have to do with your livelihood? Well, that's a great question. So hold that thought and let me go on a little bit, and then I'm going to tie this all together for you. So as I said, metaphysics is the study of energetic laws of the universe. So if there are energetic laws, we need to understand what is energy. Now, energy takes many forms, and we understand electric energy, magnetic energy, kinetic energy, nuclear energy. So the one simple way to kind of sum up energy and define it is to say it's really the capacity to create an effect. And so it's really pretty much the same physically as it is metaphysically. So when you think about energy, you might think about an object in motion, radiant energy that's carried by light, gravitational pulls, and other forms of energy that we understand in a physical sense. So when you think of metaphysical energy, it kind of goes beyond physics into areas that can't be perceived through the five senses. So energy that you can't really feel or see or hear or touch. These would be the energies that come from our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions. So if you think about it, have you ever walked into a room and you said, oh, I could cut the tension with a knife? Well, that's an energy that's in that room, that's being evoked by people's or emoted by people's feelings and thoughts. And it's not something that you can really see, but in some way, you know that energy is there. You sense it. Metaphysics recognizes that there's many levels of the mind that need to be coordinated in order to bring about any kind of a physical materialization. So, in other words, the mind is a field of energy, and whatever energy is coming from the mind is going to be physically manifested into something, and it's going to connect with other fields of energy. So that was to me an aha moment, to recognize that there is a connection between what's physically in front of me and what I'm thinking. And the things that happen in my life and the things that manifest, whether physically, materially, or in any other way, are created first in my mind. And it's a little bit hard to understand, but what happens is that the energy field of the mind actually connects with other energy fields, and it can alter or change that energy, ultimately creating something different. So any circumstances, whatever they are, that are going on around you, are really based on the energy that's surrounding you and the other people in those situations. And they can be altered. If you can alter your energy, you can alter situations in your life. So while you can't really change the energy of another person, you can combine the energy that's coming from you to create a different result in that interaction with other people. Metaphysics perceives that the mind, that's our mind, projects forth from itself into physical manifestation whatever it believes and focuses on over a period of time. So in other words, there is a magnetic draw that whatever is filled in consciousness on a daily basis, whether it's positive or negative, is going to attract more of the same by drawing that in from the energies of the universe, things that are beyond our five senses. So I've always liked that saying, what you think about, you bring about, but it actually is proven that that is true from a metaphysical science point of view, because like attracts like. So if you're thinking about negative things, it's not surprising that negative things are happening in your life. If you're thinking positive and you're thinking about abundance, it's not surprising that you have abundance in your life. So it is key that you focus upon what it is that you want to manifest in life, not on what you want to avoid. Because if you're thinking about what you don't want to happen, that's exactly what you're going to be attracting. When applying the concepts of metaphysics, accept that all levels and energies of your mind are in a working progress, or a process really, and whatever that process is creating, energy-wise, is what is going to manifest physically. So the truth is that although we cannot see various sources of energy like electricity or radio or cellular waves, we use them every day in our lives. So energy associated with metaphysics is very similar. It's the same energy. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean it isn't there. And if you kind of equate this, and I've used this before because I heard it from one of my teachers, and I've said it to some of you, I know, but if you think about an analogy of having cookie dough, and you have this big blob of something, you actually can transform that into, well, little Christmas trees or little gingerbreads or little stars or whatever, little balls or whatever you decide that you want that shape to look like by applying some sort of, in this case, energy to it. Well, you do the same thing. In your mind, you've got this whole blob of thought process and energy. And if you can direct that energy into a exact form, that will manifest for you. But you have to be able to be very consciously doing that. So let's get back to what I said about livelihood. Livelihood is a way of working and thinking about work where a person is moving toward the fullest participation in life. So growing in self-awareness, trust, and self-esteem. So let's break that down. A way of working, which is physical energy. So we're doing something, which is working. And thinking about work, which is metaphysical energy. Those energies combined will bring you to the fullest participation in life, assuming that it is the right thing that you're focusing on. So if you're thinking about work in a positive way, you're doing work that you love, you're in the flow with what you're doing, it's going to bring you to a new level in your life. So do you get that by studying and applying the concepts of metaphysics, you will actually create the life you want? Which means that by learning to fill your consciousness with positive thoughts, you will create energy, which in turn will cause an effect, and that effect will be a lucrative livelihood. That livelihood is going to be created by the energy in your mind. It is a beautiful thing. It is just so cool. So let's recap. So far, we've established that your life begins in your mind first. So there is a reason that you have this calling to be an entrepreneur. And that is that longing that you have for the fullest participation in life, which is to grow in self-awareness, trust, and self-esteem. That is your highest calling. That is why you are here. Now, to answer this call, we must apply the spiritual laws of metaphysics. And if we do that, we can create positive energy, and it will create positive physical manifestation, because like attracts like. By tapping into the higher power within us, we will find our soul's purpose and can then create our true livelihood. So in order to tap into that higher power, we need to understand the importance of mysticism. So that brings us to our third thing that we're talking about. So we talked about getting a mission, and we've talked about applying metaphysics, the laws of the universe. Now let's talk about mysticism. Because throughout the years, mysticism has kind of been associated with religious practices within religious traditions. And it's usually defined as a spiritual discipline used to make contact with the divine. And while this definition is close and partially correct, there actually have been many people who have had mystical experiences without using any or without following any religion or religious discipline. So a mystical event is really a personal experience where one will feel as though you have been touched by a higher power or a greater truth. And this could occur inside or outside of a religious setting. And it doesn't require any specific religious tradition. Some people say that mystical experiences involve that intuitive understanding and an ability to resolve life problems. So in modern times, like in today's world, mysticism actually crosses all spiritual paths. And the definition is relatively broad. And it really just means being one with the absolute, or one with God, or one with the universe. So if you desire to tap into your higher power, you would have to learn how to have a mystical experience. And that would mean getting in touch with your essence or your soul. And as you practice attuning to the subtle energies, your ability to accurately perceive these energies will increase. So there are energies that are coming from our soul. And there's information within ourselves that are that it's possible for us to tap into this information. And when we do, we learn what our purpose is, and that in turn gives us direction and makes us feel complete. And it's really what so many of us are longing for. And we're looking for in outside ways. So people shop and they drink and they party and they buy things and all of the things that people sometimes aspire to. And then, just like me, get to a point in your life where you're still just not happy. Because that happiness is coming from becoming whole or one with yourself and actually living in a life of purpose. So there's really a couple of obstacles that get in the way of us getting into this inner sanction and this inner energy that we have. And the first is that we get totally distracted by what's in our head. So our thoughts, our feelings, things we're preoccupied with, ideas that we have from our past, all these thoughts and ideas are like floating around in there, and they get in the way of us like consciously going into our inner sanctuary. And the second thing that gets in the way is that we start second guessing it with our minds. So even when we maybe do have an experience of connecting with that inner essence, we start questioning whether it was real and undermining it. So this is where we use meditation to overcome that. So the fourth thing that I was going to talk to you about today is meditation. Meditation is a very important tool that's used in the study of metaphysics and mysticism because it trains your brain to become quiet, contained, and receptive. And in order to effectively experiment with metaphysical laws and to start getting the effects of the various energies, we have to be able to hold a space that's uncontaminated by all this stuff going on in our head, our mental conceptions, and free from distraction. So we learn to meditate so that we can create that little workshop within us where these powerful experiments can be done, and where we can really start learning some deeper truths about our purpose in life. And, learning meditation is an art and it's a science. And, there really are no shortcuts to learning it. It's a mental state and it requires practice. Just like anything that you learn in life that you get good at, you have to practice. Now, everyone is capable of meditating and going into deep meditative states, but no one develops these states without practicing. So if you are already practicing meditation, then you understand what I'm talking about. And I'm sure that some days are good and some days you struggle. I have that, and I've been meditating for 3 years. And for those of you who are just about to go into a whole new understanding and practice of meditation, be gentle with yourself and understand that it's going to take some time. Some parts will be easier for some than others. And it will take, you will get to a point where you can develop a mastery of meditation. And you will be able to get through difficult periods that get in the way. And the more you practice it, the more easily you will be able to enter into these states. And you'll be able to really get deeper in exploring universal truths about yourself and also about the nature of your interaction with the universe and really the nature of God or source or divine inspiration or whatever you want to call it. But it's that higher power. So I highly encourage you to begin or deepen your daily meditation practice. It really should be daily. There are very few things that you can do with your time that would be more enriching and empowering and enlightening than practicing and strengthening your ability to create that sanctuary within yourself. There are so many benefits to it, and we'll spend some time. I'll actually do a whole program just on meditation because it's so powerful. But today, again, we're just kind of hitting the highlights. So it's so important to me that you make this shift in your life that I've actually created a gift for you on my website. And so if you just take a minute right now and you go to thefreedomshift.com, that's www.thefreedomshift.com, you'll see a link right on the home page that says, yes, I want a guided meditation. And you will receive a special visualization meditation that you can download and you can use every day or every night or both, morning and night, which would be great. And I will actually give you some tips on meditating in this download. And I will also walk you through a visualization technique that will really help you. So take advantage of this if you are just getting started into meditation. It will really help you get into the space within you and where all that great creative and inspiration lives, creative ideas and energy. And if you go to the site right now, just take a minute and do that and click yes that you want it. And for those of you who, for whatever reason, you can't go to the site right now, just write this down, thefreedomshift.com, yes. And you'll know when you see the big yes button that you just want to download the guided meditation. Okay, so we have covered a lot. We've discussed how important it is to create a livelihood, how to apply metaphysical laws so you can tap into your higher power. I've offered you a creative meditation audio so that you can actually start visualizing and manifesting, which is a beautiful thing because you really want to get clear on your mission. And so that brings us to step 5, which is marketing. So now we're getting to some concrete stuff. So for many people who are passionate about their purpose in life and they really want to help people, there's an aversion to the idea of turning that into a business. It brings up all kinds of fears and money issues and things, just judgments about whether you should be able to make a living or make money helping other people. And is that really charitable? And, I just want to say this to you. You are not going to be able to help the number of people that you need to help if you cannot earn a living doing it. So money and being able to market your services is what is going to allow more people to get a benefit from what you have to offer. So money is not the end game here. Money is useful as a tool to help you to continue to thrive in your business, to continue to be able to help more people, and to continue to have that freedom to not have to have other worries in your life so that you can focus on what you do best and what you love to do and what your soul's purpose is. Now, it might feel overwhelming to you when you think about, oh my goodness, how would I find clients? How would I create programs? How do I sell this whole thing? And then it may even seem even bigger when you think about, oh, I would have to manage a business. I might even have to have people working for me. I might have to have a team of people. Okay, it doesn't have to be that overwhelming. When I was running my last business, which I ran for 10 years, I was stressed out a lot about marketing, believe it or not. Even though I'm good at it and I like it, this online marketing was a huge struggle for me, mainly because I didn't really understand it and I didn't have time to learn it because I was too busy doing what I was doing with my business. But I knew I needed that online presence. And I knew there was a huge sea of people out there who could use my services, potential clients, that I could reach through the internet if I could figure out how to do that. But I didn't know how to create a system that would get that done for me. And frankly, I couldn't find anybody that I could plug into a system. I couldn't find anything out there that was really affordable and doable and simple enough for me to plug into. So actually, that's what I've spent my last few years developing, because it was so important to me that I would have it in my business that I really wanted to make it for other entrepreneurs. So as I studied this whole thing about online marketing and finding a way to actually use the internet as a source for promoting my business, I found that there were 5 steps that I could use that would really get my message out there and allow me the freedom to do my work. So the first thing is, obviously, how do I uncover my mission? How do I really figure out what it is that I'm supposed to be doing? And that's what we've been discussing throughout this whole program. So we'll continue to work on the whole mission piece of it as we go forward. But the second thing that needs to happen, and most people get this wrong and they do it backwards, and I did when I started as well. The next thing that has to happen is to attract a tribe of ideal clients, which means generating a list of email addresses of people who are perfectly aligned to what you're doing. And I would thought that would be a really overwhelming and hard thing to do. But because I got myself a coach, and because I got the right coach, I was actually able to learn that this could be done in a step-by-step process. It doesn't take that long. It only took me 90 days, and I can show you how to do it in 90 days as well. And you build a list of people who really are interested in hearing about what you're doing and would be perfectly suited to work with you at some point. So that's number 2. Number 2 is to build a list of ideal clients, or some people call it building your tribe. And the next thing is, number 3, is then you kind of brand your company. And you do that first by really getting to know who these people are on your list and what it is that they want that they're not getting from other sources. So you start a dialogue with these people, and you do that in a whole bunch of different ways, which basically is, using all kinds of technology like blogging and social media and newsletters and webinars and TV shows and phone calls and all kinds of interaction. But it's really important to build a rapport at this point with these people who you have on your list so that they get to know you, like you, and trust you. And once that is accomplished, this whole idea of finding clients becomes simple, because these people want to do business with you. They want the services that you have to offer. And again, I just reeled off a whole bunch of things that happened during that stage, but those things do not have to be complicated. That can be done in a very systematic way. Again, if you follow the right system, everything comes one step at a time, and it can be done very easily. So I really want to encourage you that anybody with a mission can actually turn that into a lucrative livelihood with help, of course. And believe me, if you know me, you know that the one thing that I am dead centered on is everybody needs a coach. So if you don't have a coach, you need a coach. Okay, moving on. Number 4 is then once you have built that rapport and you know who your people are and you know what they're looking for, you get to create your irresistible offers, which are basically your programs. And it's easy to do that because once you know what they want, then you can create what they're looking for, and it's very easy for them to then sign up and become enrolled in these programs. And then 5 is the beautiful M of this whole thing, which is monetize. And this is where you get to start making money and creating multiple streams of income. And you do that through all kinds of various offers that you can put out for people. So there can be private one-on-one type of help that you offer people, or you might do some group things, or you might do some training programs, or you might do some, sell a book, or some kind of a self-paced training, whatever. There's multiple ways that your business can become monetized so that you can leverage your time. Because again, this is not called the freedom shift for nothing. Okay? This isn't meant to have you trade in one job, which you may be doing now, for another. This is meant to allow you to serve the most people in the best possible way and still give you the freedom to pursue things in your life that are important to you besides just working. So again, everything needs to be done in a systematic way, one step at a time. And as this series continues, I will be diving into everything that I've talked about today in much more detail. I will be bringing on guest speakers, people who are experts in these various areas, and there will be so much unfolding for you as you go through this process of listening to your own inner guidance, which is crucial. And so even though I'm a practical business person and I'll be giving you a lot of business advice, I'll always be bringing you back inside to that meditative place where your soul is the guide. And I'll be showing you then ways to take that inner guidance and bring it out in positive energy to create things that are really meaningful for you and for the people on your list. And I'm just talk to you about all kinds of different marketing strategies and ways that you can promote and fulfill what you're doing out there. So make sure that you mark your calendar for this time every week. Or if you plan to listen to replays because you can't be on live, set a time that you can do every single week at the same time. Make this a priority, because if you are serious about creating a livelihood, you are going to have to get focused and clarity and a system and a plan and a program in place that's really going to get you moving forward. So that 1 hour that you set aside every week is what's going to be the key for you to get that miracle to happen in your life. So, one more thing that I want to mention to you. While you're on the freedomshift.com website, or if you clicked off it, I'd like you to click back on it again. And you will see down in the right-hand side, bottom right, a little box is going to pop up that says, "Let's talk." And there'll be a picture of me. And all you need to do is to schedule a time with me, and we will have a little chat about what you need to do next I will answer any questions. I will help you get a strategy in place for the next thing to do that will help you to move forward in your business. I am literally on a mission to help as many people as possible to make the miracle of their life happen. And that is to create a lucrative livelihood doing what you love. I want to help you with that. And so if you would like that as well, then schedule a time right now. Just click on that link and tell me a great time or give me a couple of options that would be great for you to just spend 20 minutes or half an hour and get you going to the next step. Or whatever. If you just want to talk about anything that I said here today, ask me any questions. I would love it. I seriously want to talk to you. So, with that said, I thank you so much for being here today. I send you light and love. And until next week, when we'll be covering more and discussing more about your miracle marketing plan, I will be looking forward to talking with you in the meantime. So have a wonderful week, and we will be back same time next week. Bye-bye.